not wearing them.
Why?
Because we were gonna get a divorce.
Shawniece and I aren't wearing our wedding rings right now. We were separated and she found out I was messing with other girls.
Welcome to Little Black Buck. You know what time it is. Let's get it going, let's get it going. So guys, I stumbled across a new video called Married at First Sight, and if you don't know what it is, I don't know what it is. No, I'm kidding. Basically, it's just like a show that basically where people kind of pair people up, and for a few weeks they date or whatever, and then they decide to get married or not after a few weeks or even less. Okay, but that's not what I want to focus on. I want to focus on actually this story, because when I've been watching a few of the videos, and I'll kind of link some of the videos into what I'm talking about. So if I talk about a lot of things, I will be evidencing it with the other videos. Okay, so there's a backstory. We've got Jephte and we've got this girl Shawniece, basically, yeah. And they obviously did this marriage at first sight.
Oh, mama's baby.
I'm so relieved I could put a face to the woman I've been thinking about for so long.
How's it going, Jephte?
Shawniece, nice to meet
Shawniece. With this ring, I wed you, Shawniece, for all the years to come.
With this ring, I wed you, Jephte, for all the days to come.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Let me just say this now from the very jump. You should not be getting married on a whim. You should not be getting married after 6 weeks. You should not be getting married after a month. Them kind of things there.
I mean, it's only day 5. We're still strangers.
I'm getting to know you.
But you don't know me. I feel like the more experiences we have together, the closer we'll be. And I'm not trying to shut her out at all.
I understand that some people do get married after a month and it works, let's be honest, but there are always exceptions to every rule, don't get it twisted. But we're talking about a situation here where marriage is a lifelong commitment, and you see, I give this example from the Bible. Jacob, right, married both Leah and both Rachel. He had to work 7 years for Rachel, who he wanted. But the night of the marriage, Leah got into the bed during night time, and he didn't realize he was sleeping with Leah. Deep it. If I say I know you for 7 years, another woman couldn't get into the bed at night time, and I wouldn't know. First of all, her tone of voice, the way she smells, her figure. You know what I'm saying? All of that would bring alarm bells to me to say, look, hey, hold on a minute. I don't think this is my girl. You understand? So deep it that if you get married in darkness, you are going to find yourself in a place where a lack of knowledge, you will perish. The first thing I noticed about this video is, where are the fathers of both Shawniece and Jephte? Where are the fathers? This is very important in terms of how to even navigate a relationship, because the mothers that speak later on, I believe, speak from a place of ignorance, in the sense of, this is not beef, ignorance in the sense of not knowing what a healthy relationship looks like. And the reason why I say that is because the comments that they made.
I think that y'all should keep them on, regardless of the situation.
So, you are very lucky to have Jephte. Jephte is a good young...
He is, and she is too.
Everything, because there are no fathers in the home and only single parents in terms of mothers, you have to understand that both people, Shawniece and Jephte, will take their mother's word as gospel. The reason being, when you've lost a parent, or when you haven't got a parent, when you're one parent down, what happens is you tend to treat that one parent with utmost love and respect, and you hold that person to high regard.
My mom had me really young. My mom was 15, about to be 16, and we grew up together. So my relationship with my mom is very strong and powerful and solid. And if there's anybody that I can depend and rely on, it's her.
My relationship with my mom is strong. I know that if I'm ever drowning, I could just call and talk to her. Even if I don't tell her what's wrong, just hearing her voice always brings peace to me. I love my mother, and I do whatever for her. And
whatever they say to do, or whatever however they impact your life, it's a huge influence over you. Do you understand? Because you've only got one parent now, so you cherish it. And so whatever they say, whatever they implement into you becomes a seed, and whatever that seed is will begin to manifest and grow. And so this is where my annoyance came in, because both parents are mad and there's nobody to tell them. First question that's asked is,
So where y'all rings? What's going on with that?
We're not wearing them.
Why?
Because we were going to get a divorce.
Shawniece didn't want to put a ring on because she understood that, listen, hold on a minute. There's been some infidelity here. Regardless of whether we weren't together, we were married still. But you stepped out whilst I've been pregnant and had sex with several girls. Not one. So deep it. You weren't even, you see, someone who said that, oh, I was trying to do my thing. You were going back to do your thing. What does your thing even mean? It means to sleep with other girls. Is that what your thing is? To go and sleep with other girls. So whilst you're in pain, to go and exhibit that pain onto another girl so you can get over your pain. Deep what you're actually saying. And so when these parents then ask, when are you going to put a ring on? The mum of Shawniece asked this, when are you going to put your ring on? Shawniece is like, well, you know, we were thinking, I wanted to deep the word shit. We were thinking about the divorce. Why she said we were thinking? We were thinking meaning that it's a past thought. Okay, right now we're not in that position, but we were thinking that. Why? Because of what he did.
Like, all right, we're still married, but like we weren't really together. I felt like I had to get back to being who I was before all of this happened.
He knows what he did. Do you know what I'm saying? We see that in other videos. We know what he did. And he even struggled. He tried to make an excuse about, you know, I was drowning and I was suffering and I don't hear that bullcrap. There is no excuse for you to be stepping out of your relationship when your wife is pregnant, my GG. No excuse. And if we give you a room for the excuse, what we're saying is, go and do it again. And when you do it again, we'll give you another excuse. We're not giving you an excuse. You're downright out of order. Bang out of order. Any woman accepting any excuse from a man as why he cheated. Listen, when I cheated in the past year, it's not because it's not just yes, I understand that maybe a girl might not have been the way I wanted her to be, but at the end of the day, I made a decision to go and cheat. I didn't fall into the sex. I didn't mistakenly go into the sex. I chose to go there and have sex with somebody else other than you. Deep it. So cheating was a conscious choice. So I don't hear nothing about, oh, you know, I was drowning in my depression. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. You made a choice. You made a conscious choice to go and do what you did so you can do your thing. Okay, this is what brings us to my point. So if he went to consciously do his thing, and Shawniece decided that whilst you're doing your thing, you want to come back, or we want to talk about things, I don't really want to put my ring back on because that's a signification that everything's cool. It's not cool. Everything is not cool. The rings are off. Because I want to let you know that what you did is inconsiderate, and it's not something that's beloved. To say that you love me and you care for me, how can that be? And one thing I noticed as well about Jephte is that he mentioned a lot of times about how much he loved the baby. He loved the baby, he loved the baby, he loved the baby. But
for the baby, like, I'll take this mental L for as long as I can. As long as the baby gets through, and you know how much I care about the baby.
He didn't really mention much about how much he loves his wife. Probably because he doesn't love his wife. Because even in this video, he said, you know, we didn't really have that spark. But then obviously, you know, I'm growing more to care for her. So he don't really love her. So we've got a situation where Shawniece is in a relationship where her husband really don't love her. And then we're telling her, don't take the rings off. Why are we saying to her, listen, I'm a Christian, I don't believe we should have divorce. But I'm also understanding that, listen, this situation is very, very peak. The man has committed and stepped out. And as he stepped out, he's not been committed to the situation. And yet you're trying to argue on the case of the fact that, has she got her rings? You see, for me, her getting her rings, taking her rings off was a power play. It's a state of saying, listen, what you did, okay, done something. Here's my power play. I'm taking my ring off to show you that, listen, if you can't be committed, then we can't have what we're going on right now. You can't have me here looking dumb and try to play it off. I'm taking my ring off to show you, listen, I'm not involved in this. Now, she hadn't gone all the way to being divorced, but what she said was that, listen, I'm taking my ring off to show you how serious the situation is. And then you got your parents, your mums going, why did you take off the ring?
They shouldn't come off. Once you put that ring on your finger, it should never come off at any circumstances. Once you speak in divorce, I feel like it's out there, and I don't want that to happen with them.
Like if you're in a if you're married, you don't ever. There's no situation where you take the ring off. No, there is situations. There is situations. There are exceptions. Yes, there are. I used to, you know what I'm saying. It's not cut and throat dry. And again, this relates back to being, where are the fathers? You see, a loving relationship where you see healthy relationships will let you know something is toxic, it's wrong, it's not correct. So to say to somebody, there's no exception, there's no circumstance where you should take the ring off, I will personally say to this, there's no reason why anyone should get divorced. Separated, yes, but I've also understood that, listen, there come situations, for instance, the man is consistently beating her and abusing her. My Gigi, this, for me, is not where God wants you to be. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. God doesn't want you to be in that situation. God doesn't want you to be in a situation where the man's consistently cheating and we're allowing it and accepting it. No. No. No, 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 no. Do you know what I'm saying? So I want you to deep it. There are exceptions to rules. Do you know what I'm saying? And when it's hard and fast, God sees the intention rather than seeing the actual action. Deep it. This is why David got away with murder, because the intention different from what the heart is actually saying. As a mum, you want your daughter to be in a loving relationship. You don't want your daughter to be in a situation where she's being harangued and being abused, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So why would you want her to be in a situation where in a marriage she's not being loved, she's not being taken care of, she's being cheated on? I don't understand the logic. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't deep it. And then obviously the daughter said obviously as well that her mum, Shawniece said about her mum gained a son.
With the marriage, my mother basically gained a son, something she's never had. So what Jephte did was pretty much like a smack in the face.
And it got me thinking again about fathers. It got me thinking again about healthy relationship. Is she looking at Jephte and saying, look, you know, I've gained a son here, so although I know he hurt my daughter, I want to keep him. Because of the fact that, again, not knowing what a healthy relationship looks like, not understanding that some things are toxic, you know what I'm saying? Because you're in a situation where you're a single parent or etc, etc, do you know what I'm saying? I had to consider that, because regardless of whether you want to have a son or not, the son is messing up. He's messing up your daughter. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'll be fair. The mum did say some things to Jephte and said to Jephte, listen, what you did, I don't want my daughter to ever feel like she's ever unwanted.
One thing that bothered me, Jephte, and I don't want to cry, the hardest thing for me to hear was that you didn't want her at the time.
Granted, but why did we not talk about the fact that he went out and stepped out? Why are we putting it so softly? We don't want my daughter to feel like she's ever not unwanted. Bro, he went and slept with a couple of gyal. Let's talk about it straight. Let's not pretend about it. Let's not beat around the bush. Speak to him directly and tell him, listen, Jephte, you slept with a couple of gyal whilst you've been married. You're telling your daughter not to take the rings off, but you're not addressing the son to tell him that, listen, you can't step out of a relationship and have sex with other girls when you're married. Why are you not addressing that? So what's going to happen here is that, and the way, like I said, because the weight of a mother's words is very heavy, because she's also a single parent to Shawniece. The way she said, obviously, you know, you don't ever take your rings off. That statement will stick with Shawniece forever. And she may set herself up for a fall of continuous abuse and cheating. When I say abuse, I mean sexually abuse, in the sense of the fact that someone, sorry, not cheating, sexual abuse, in terms of a relationship abuse where somebody is taking advantage of your good nature and that they're stepping out of the relationship knowing that obviously, you know, you will take them back. And you have to deep it. When that mama said that heavy, gratuitous word where she said, obviously, you know, there's no reason why you should take your ring off.
I think that y'all should keep them on, regardless of the situation. They shouldn't come off.
I can already, I can see through Shawniece and just see that she's going to take this word on and say, look, no matter what happens in terms of him, Jephte, doing something in future, if he cheats again, you know what, my mum told me, listen, no other reason why. And these words are like poison. I've said this. The Bible says that your words can be like poison. This will be a poison for Shawniece. It will slowly seep into her nature, and she will never forget those words. And I feel like she will be in a continuous rotten cycle of forgiving this man if he continues cheating. Do you see what I'm saying? The words are so heavy. And one thing I want to make sure actually clear: why Jephthe's mum decided to interrupt and say, you're lucky to have Jephte. No, she's not lucky to have Jephte at this moment. She really isn't. At this time and point and conjuncture, she's not lucky to have Jephte. And this is what infuriates me. How can you as a mum, as a woman, relating to another woman, then allow your son to be in a position where you were in a position where someone has abused you, in a sense of taking advantage of you in a relationship? Why would you allow your son to get away with something that you may potentially have gone through? We want men to be committed, but we're raising boys to be Peter Pans. instead of checking your son, Jephthe's mum, instead of checking your own son and saying, you've done wrong here and you have a lot to make up for, you're instead defending him.
So you are very lucky to have Jephte. Jephte is a good young.
He is, and she is too.
And Jephte, I wish Jephte is very good, and Jephte is very respectful.
Like this is a classic thing. Remember in school? I remember those times in school where a kid would be messing around, doing absolutely the most. Teacher pulls him up, tells the parent to come into the class, to come into school. The parent would then defend the child. What is that child learning? The child's learning, whenever I do anything wrong, my parents can defend me. And actually what that child learns to do is not take responsibility for its actions, and therefore doesn't know when it's wrong. And this is where I feel like Jephte is going to go, because both parents did not shun Jephte for what he done. And Shawniece is sitting there looking like a fool, and must be feeling like a fool, because what did she do wrong? Like, Shawniece must be feeling like a fool because both parents are addressing her, saying about how lucky she is, about the fact she never should have taken off her rings, you know. And then Jephthe's mom even adds, oh, you know, what do you guys expect, you know, because you guys have been strangers. Again, not tackling the issue of your son, but addressing everybody instead of addressing your son. It's your son that needs addressing, not the girl. Your son. And let me tell you something now, as a man, I'll be real to you. If I'm a dad and my son does this to a girl, you bring a girl home and you do what you did. Let me tell you something now. I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna slap you and tell you straight. And the reason why I'm gonna slap you and tell you straight is because I cannot condone that behavior. Yeah? I cannot be part of you making that mistake and allowing it. Because that mistake is going to affect future generations. I know, I've done it in the past and I've seen how it's affected people. I'm not going to allow you to continue to do that and be an advocate for that. As a parent, I've got to back and make sure what you're doing is right. You don't get a privilege here. And I feel like these parents have given this boy, Jephte, so much privilege, so much room to maneuver, to the point that even when the mom said, listen, there's no reason why you should have taken off your rings, Jephte started laughing.
I think that y'all should keep them on, regardless of the situation. They shouldn't come off. They shouldn't come off.
Jephthe's got a smirk on his face. Why has he got a smirk? Because he's probably said the same thing to her. You should forgive me and da-da-da. And I've seen this before. My own two eyes with people, I've seen this before. Where they're in the wrong, yeah, and they will make the other person feel like they're mad and guilty for doing what they've done in terms of response to what they've done. I mean, the girl didn't fight him. The girl didn't try to bash him with the head. She explained how she felt. She let him know what you've done is wrong. She let him know she was hurt. She let him know what he did was inconsiderate. And yet, we are bashing the woman. I honestly don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Learn from this. Like, even in the past videos, I didn't see a sincere, deep, heartfelt apology for doing what he did. In fact, he feels justified because they were on a break. And so I don't see this going to work out very nicely for them in the end. And like I said, he keeps mentioning about this baby. And even one of the videos, he laid his hand on the baby instead of comforting her after, you know, admitting that he moved mad. What are you expecting? Listen, ladies, if you're out there and you got a guy like Jephte, ditch him. He ain't worth it. I don't care what the mom says. The mom telling him, saying, listen, my son's good, my son's good. I don't give a damn. Your son ain't good. Your son ain't good. At this particular moment, he ain't good. And you need to correct that behavior. Do you get what I'm saying? So, I hope they can make it work. I hope that they can spend time together and actually develop as a relation, as a couple. I just don't have much hope in it, because honestly, really and truly, if your parents can't correct you, this looks like a setup for a continuous abuse within this relationship in terms of being cheated upon. And I feel like Shawniece will accept it. Anyway, so guys, that's my little review of that video. Listen, little black book, you already know what time it is. Wakanda forever.